Hello everybody, Mannix here. It is time for a butterfly knife review. This is going to be on the Boker G10 D2 large Balisong. I know, fantastic name, right? 2670 on the blade right there underneath that D2. There's also a smaller variant on this guy, and I believe there's a variant which has VG10. Now, this Balisong in particular is very, very special to me personally because it's what I think the market was screaming for all those years ago. There was a lot of frustration back in the day when users like myself were trying to get Balisongs that would not fall apart. We just wanted to flip a decent Balisong and not have to spend $300, $400, $500 on one. And there was a massive gap, especially back in the day. It still kind of exists, but it's better now. This is an example of stepping in the correct direction. But back in the day, I'm talking like anywhere between 2008, even all the way up to like 2018 or something. Somewhere in there, you had piece of crap Balisongs that cost no more than 30 bucks. They could be anywhere from like 10 to 35, something like that. That would fall apart on you sometimes within a few days or a few hours, depending on it. The tang pins would fly out of the blades. The screws would always loosen out when you tried to tighten them back in. They strip. Literally, they would fall apart. And then you had the Benchmade Model 42, which was just demanding absolute outrageous prices and is even more expensive than ever now, filming this September 2025. Those things went from about 300 bucks street price to over $1,000. It's amazing how much has changed in 15 years. But regardless, we were looking for something like this, something that had straight G10 handles, not a super expensive blade steel or anything. Keep the price at around 100 bucks. That's what we wanted, and look at that. They delivered. I mean, it's kind of late now, but something like this is what we really, really wanted. Now, these days, things are a little different. I mean, Schrade's got the Alchemist. Kershaw's now got the Lucha. There's a handful of decent Balisongs that won't fall apart on you that are around the $100 mark now, and this is one of those guys. Now, if you want to talk about really modern stuff that's basically only designed for flipping, like Squid Industries, I'm not terribly familiar with all the modern stuff, the current meta and all that. I'm not really involved in the community. I don't really care. But the trend currently seems to be latchless trainers. It's sandwich construction. That's extremely common. Whenever I pop up modern Balisong flipping videos, that's usually what I see. This looks a little bit more older-fashioned despite being modernized in a lot of ways, and we're going to get into why that is. That's why I really, really like this one. As you can probably already see, it's kind of an everyday carry-friendly Balisong, but it's actually a very, very good flipper. Let's get some specs out of the way. Retails at $125.95, but currently on Boker's official website, they have it on sale for a little cheaper than that. However, I got this guy almost about a year ago for 40 bucks. This website happens to be knifeworks.com. They're selling off these guys for, look at that, $40. That's the price I got it for, including shipping was like $50. That's extremely good. If you can get this for that price, grab it while you can, my friend. That's an excellent, amazing, amazing deal. But even for 100 bucks, that's still not that bad either. That's why it just kind of blows my mind. It's still a good knife. Overall length of 9.06 inches. Blade length, 4.02 inches. The thickness of it is 0.11 inches. Rounded spine, by the way. Handle length of 5.04 inches, according to my own measurements, because the website does not say that. Weighs 4.87 ounces. Again, D2 blade steel, satin finish. The model is the 06EX228. Hollow grind on the blade, by the way. Their website was calling this a spear point. I'm going to call that a drop point. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe, I don't know. It looks more like a drop point to me, but G10 handle scales with skeletonized steel liners in there. Pocket clip, which appears to be swappable to all four sides, either handle. T-latch, but it's somewhat of a springer. I don't know what you'd qualify this by the modern terms, whatever the kids are saying over on Reddit these days. I don't really know. If you squeeze the handles, it does spring out, despite not having an actual spring in there. But by the design of it, there's sort of this cup shape within the latch right there that bends when you apply pressure to it, when you have it make contact with this pin that you can see recessing within the handle. So you apply pressure to it, and then when you let go, it springs out, again, despite not having a physical spring. It's a T-latch. Once you detach it, it clicks and clacks around just like any old standard T-latch, but you can spring it out of the closed position by squeezing the handle. So it's kind of a wannabe springer. Pseudo spring latch, if you're familiar with the Benchmade Morpho Balisongs all those years ago as well. Again, this is also going way, way back to like 2009, 2010. Man, time's flying by it. 15 years, they had almost this exact same setup. In fact, that Balisong also had G10 handle scales, very similar in some ways. Would not be surprised if they took some inspiration from that, but it is not springable, if you will, out of the open position. Just behaves like a normal T-latch at that point. Luckily, thank the stars, it does have a latch gate. Not a dedicated latch gate or anything, but just by its design and that pin being in the way, it will never make contact with that blade. A lot of Balisong companies out there can't seem to figure that one out, even in 2025. It's unfortunate. I wanted to get a cold steel new Archangel, but that one doesn't have a latch gate. That was kind of a deal breaker for me. Sorry, I don't want my blade getting dinged up because they can't put a little piece of metal in the way there. It's just silly. But anyway, totally functional. Locks just fine in the open and closed position, just like you'd imagine any Balisong. Very smooth. The G10 doesn't really have any texturing on its own. It's actually extremely polished. It's very, very smooth, but we do have these cutouts within the handle scales that align parallel with the liners, and they're cut at 90 degrees, it looks like, so it's not the most comfortable. I do kind of wish these were rounded. Not the end of the world. It does offer some kind of grip, but it's not ideal. It's more just done for aerodynamics, aesthetics, etc. But it flips very, very well. Right off the bat, though, what I will say, the handles are thick. They are fat, thick-ass handles. I do like it and all, but I don't think it's ideal for most people, especially if you're specifically flipping. If you're a flipper, you flip a lot of different Balisongs, that's probably the first thing you're going to notice when you pick this guy up, like, whoa, those are thick handles. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of a preference thing. They are nice and rounded on the edges right here, at least, despite again, the holes being cut literally at 90 degrees. It is overall a nice, rounded, smooth feeling Balisong, but those handles are very, very thick. There's a lot to hold on to. See that as a good thing, see that as a bad thing. It's slightly unusual. I don't see it as a bad thing necessarily, but it is what it is. Zen pins on there, thank you. I do prefer those over the tang pins. I do like the shape of the latch right here. It's kind of a mushroom shape, very nice and rounded, very friendly. And there is some kind of a design, as you can see, within the two edges of the stem of the latch right there. Jimping, if you will, even though that's not really what it is. It's more just for aesthetics, I believe. It's going to be very nice and comfortable for latch drops. Having trouble doing this on camera, but very nice rounded smooth latch right there. It's got little back spacers. I do like that as well. It's very, very cool looking. I like the aesthetics of the Balisong. It's not a bad looking knife at all. I really like that blade shape too. Drop point, but a very, very acute tip. And this guy is sharp. It is razor, razor sharp out of the package. D2 steel, very solid, decent for the money. I mean, above $100, it's starting to get a little expensive if you're just looking at the blade steel and the knife for its utility purposes. But if you're looking at it as a flippable Balisong, it's totally, totally reasonable overall. Carries very well. I have carried this a handful of times. I just don't normally carry it because technically where I'm at, it's not legal, even though it's not going to be a concern. I don't condone breaking the law. You happen to do something bad, you get caught for doing something you're not supposed to be doing, and this happens to be on you. You go to court, whatever the situation is, then it's going to be a problem. But just technicality, just take that for what it's worth. But if you can carry this legally, there you go. It's a great carry EDC Balisong, I think. The G10 handle scales, the D2 blade, the style of blade. A lot to work with too. You know, it's over a 4-inch blade. It's a long knife, like a lot of Balisongs are, but comparing this directly to other carryable folding knives, it's a long knife. I really, really particularly like this Balisong for two reasons. One, it's relatively affordable, especially if you get it on sale, then it's a deal of a lifetime for $40. Grab it, even if you're mildly interested. But two, it's not only a pretty good flipping Balisong, it's a very good working user blade. Defense knife? I mean, if you want to carry a Balisong for defense, that's not my thing personally, but if that's your thing, this is one to have. It's a pleasure to flip this guy, man. It's so smooth. It's chunky. Balisongs, you're going to hear different noises. Some are going to be a little bit more tinny. Some are going to be a little bit more clanky. This guy's very humble. It's a cushioned, soft, but still firm, chunky kind of sound. Its presence is known, despite not being super clanky or anything, because we got G10 doing some insulation work and noise suppression. It's still a very nice sounding Balisong. And I happen to like the T-latches if there's a latch gate. If there's no latch gate, I'm not interested in a T-latch whatsoever. Sorry. Yes, that fact alone, again, I'm going to say it again. I know I'm bitching, but I'm going to say it again. Is the single reason I did not get the new Cold Steel Archangels because there's no latch gate. That was a deal breaker for me. But if there is a latch gate, like this one has, as you can see, I have no problem with a T-latch. The whole clicking and clacking around is music to my ears. To me, personally, it's part of the whole thing. Call me old school. Maybe it is. But I like latches on Balisongs, especially if you're going to carry this guy, okay? If this was following the current trend and being latchless, that would be kind of a dumb idea if it had the pocket clip, because it looks like it's supposed to be carried. You don't want this doing this in your pocket. That's why there's a latch on this thing. So it's totally reasonable and understandable that this guy has a latch. It looks like it's a Balisong that's actually meant to be used. Now, if you want it just for EDC purposes, that might be a good reason to actually step down to the smaller variation on this guy. The D2 G10 small. Kind of wish Boker would have given it an actual model name, but regardless, it is what it is. And hey, if you really don't like the latch at all, you can pop it off. Look at that. You can unscrew that latch. You can pop off the pocket clip if that's not your thing either. Personally, I don't even really carry Balisongs very often at all for reasons I just explained, but I don't mind having the pocket clip on there. I don't mind having the latch on there. I just kind of deal with it. I know people online and Reddit and stuff are going to argue, well, that latch is going to totally throw off my flipping. Oh no, it technically adds an imbalance to your flipping. Technically, it does get in the way a little bit. Maybe I'm just a traditionalist, but personally, it doesn't bother me. Although I would have liked to see this with a fully integrated springer that just stays in place. You know, the whole Benchmade Model 42 treatment, the one that made it popular. But there's a lot of other Balisongs that are doing that these days. Regardless, again, because there's a latch gate and it's a pseudo springer, it doesn't bother me one single bit. And at this price point, especially for the 40 to 50 bucks I paid for this thing, whatever it was, no complaints whatsoever. Very good looking Balisong, good flipper, good everyday carry knife. Looking at this as a usable work knife, it's actually very good, and it flips well too. It's a good compromise in between the two, and that's what's really, really cool about this knife. On top of it all, it's affordable. Now, it looks like you might be able to swap the latch to this side too if you just take these screws out, pop them in there, but from what I can already see, you won't be able to have it spring out because this separate pin right here does not appear to be in the safe handle. So if you wanted to swap the latch to the safe handle for whatever reason, if you're one of those dudes, you can do that. It just won't spring out at all anymore. And then I don't think you're going to have a gate either. I don't see any additional pins. There's nothing in there stopping it. So it might come into contact with the blade if you do that. It just looks like they put a spot there for you. But I don't think that's a good idea though, because I can also see there are cutouts in the safe handle that are intended to fit the shape of the latch, as you can see right there. The bite handle does not have that. So I wouldn't even recommend doing that in the first place, but there you go. There's a hole there. So the hole's probably more just for the pocket clip, but rounded spine. I love that. It's such a nice little detail. It's a pleasure to have this ricochet and knock into the backs of your fingers. It's like it's kissing you. Oh, thank you. Well, let's have another. Oh, so good flipper, fantastic user as far as Balisongs are concerned anyway. Great price, good looking. I do like the black and satin, of course, how could you go wrong? I love how soft and rounded the handles are, how thick they are, it's comfortable. It's a great knife. Overall, very, very good Balisong. It's not going to be for the high tier flipping. It doesn't have insane washers or anything in here. I actually don't even know what types they even are. They don't make it very clear in their specs. And hey, if the whole live blade scares you, I'm not going to call you a pussy for that. I understand. They do sell this in a trainer variant as well with the red handle scales. In fact, you may want to get handy, get both, do some swapping around. I think this would look pretty sick with the red handles, but the black's cool too. Overall, really cool Balisong. I'm a huge fan of it. I just like how it's affordable and actually a good user knife. And it's got a latch gate. Wow. Holy hell, a latch gate in 2025? Boker, you're paying attention. Well, I love butterfly knives. Butterfly knives are kind of where the whole knife thing all started for me. The whole gear carrying stuff, EDC, back around 2009, I want to say. It all started when I saw the Meet the Spy video for Team Fortress 2. I always wanted to get my hands on whatever that knife I saw being flipped around. So Balisongs and I go back a long ways, and it's amazing what people can do now with flipping. A lot has changed in just about a decade. I mean, when I was flipping, the Helix was considered an advanced move. Oh yeah, the cherry picker, behind the 8-ball. These were considered like upper tier moves. Now they're considered basic moves. The meta's really changed, a lot has improved. I still flip occasionally, but recently I haven't had any interest in going all out and really learning the more modern flipping techniques. Maybe one day I'll get back into the hobby, but right now I'm gonna stay at the current skill level I'm at. So anyway, that is it. That is the Boker G10 D2 large Balisong. Do you have this Balisong? What are your thoughts on it? Do you have the smaller version? I might have to pick that one up too. It's just such a good deal if I can find it for this price point. You want to carry it around? Look no further, my friend. Thank you so much for watching. Mannix out.